Ladies and gentlemen, Eagles Nation, can you believe it? The Philadelphia Eagles are sitting pretty at 4-0, a perfect start that's got the entire NFC East on notice. But here's the kicker. Their offense looks like it's auditioning for a horror movie sequel, stumbling through the second acts of these games while the defense plays hero and drags them across the finish line. It's like watching your favorite underdog team win on sheer grit and a prayer, and right now, that's the Bird Gang in a nutshell. I'm your host for this Eagles Deep Dive, coming to you live from the heart of Philly, where the cheesesteaks are cheesier and the passion runs deeper than the Schuylkill River. Buckle up, because today we're unpacking the A.J. Brown saga, Kevin Patulo's side of the story, and why this undefeated streak feels more like a house of cards than a fortress. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's get into it. First off, let's set the scene on this roller coaster ride. The Eagles just clawed out a gritty win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Week 4, pushing their record to an impeccable 4-0. But don't let those W's fool you. The stats tell a tale of inconsistency that's got Birds faithful biting their nails. They've been outgained in total yards by every single opponent this season. Yeah, you heard that right. Outrushed, outpassed, out everything, yet somehow, someway, they're undefeated. It's the kind of magic that reminds me of that 2017 Super Bowl run, when Carson Wentz went down, Nick Foles stepped up, and Philly turned the world green. But this year, the offense is sputtering like an old Liberty Bell. Iconic, historic, but in desperate need of a polish. Enter Kevin Patulo, the Eagles' offensive coordinator, who's been catching heat hotter than a tailgate grill at the Link. On Tuesday, Patulo stepped up to the mic, trying to douse the flames around the Philly offense, zeroing in on that brutal second half against the Bucs. So, the second half, when you look at the game as a whole, we started off the game the way we wanted to, he said, his voice steady but laced with that coach's resolve. We had good pace, good rhythm, we got it going. And, I think, really, when you evaluate games after the fact, there's obviously things we want to work on to get better, and we know we can be critical of as a staff, that we know we can continue to improve. Patulo's not dodging the bullet here, he's owning the misfires. He talked about how the staff got a bit too rigid, trying to force-feed the script when the defense adjusted like a chess grandmaster. Stepping out of it, there were some things that I felt like at times we were trying to do what we wanted to, and looking back, I think there's some things we can change as far as how we want to approach that situation. But here's where it gets juicy, folks. The elephant in the end zone isn't just the play calling. It's star wideout A.J. Brown, who's been quieter than a library on game day. Brown, the beast we traded up for in 2022, the guy with hands like magnets and a frame built for gridiron warfare, has seen just 28 targets through 4 games. 28. For a number 1 receiver who's torched secondaries for over 1,400 yards in a season before, that's like serving filet mignon with a side of ketchup packets. After skipping media on Sunday, classic AJ brooding mode, he hit social media with a Bible verse that hit like a stiff arm. If you're not welcomed, not listened to, quietly withdraw. Don't make a scene. Shrug your shoulders and be on your way. Oof. It's the kind of subtle shade that echoes through the locker room louder than a Broad Street brawl. Fans are reading between the lines, wondering if Brown's signaling a mutiny or just venting steam from another underutilized outing. Patulo, to his credit, isn't letting this fester. Him and I have had no problem, he assured reporters, his tone all Big Brother reassurance. I know where his heart is and where he lies. He wants to win. So he feels like he can do anything and everything to help us at all times. As far as I'm concerned, him and I are in a good spot. It's the diplomatic dance of a coordinator under fire, but you can almost hear the subtext, we're good, trust the process. Remember, the last time Brown went radio silent like this? It dragged on for weeks, turning whispers into roars across the Delaware Valley. Will he break his silence Wednesday? Or will we get more cryptic posts that have Twitter, X, lighting up like the Mummers Parade? Now, let's zoom out and dissect this offense like it's Sunday film study at the NovaCare complex. Jalen Hurts, our dual-threat quarterback who's equal parts Reggie White ferocity and Donovan McNabb magic, has been slinging it with precision. Over 70% completion rate early on, but those second-half stalls? They're killing the vibe. Against Tampa, the Birds exploded for 21 first-half points, mixing quick slants to Devonta Smith. You know, the slender speedster we snagged in 21 who dances through defenders like they're traffic cones, and those signature Hurts bootlegs that freeze linebackers colder than a January wind off the Walt Whitman Bridge. But post-halftime, it's like someone flipped the script to predictable. Too many vanilla run calls up the gut against a Bucs D-line that stuffed him for losses, and not enough deep shots to Brown's wheel route, where he feasts like a Viking at a feast. Statistically, Philly's averaging just 22 points per game, respectable, but down from last year's 27-point tear that had us dreaming of repeat glory. And those yards, outgained by 50+ in 3 of 4 contests. It's the defense, led by that swarm of bees in the secondary, echoing Brian Dawkins' Weapon X era, that's bailing them out, forcing turnovers like it's 2004 all over again. Tactically, Patulo's leaning on a Shanahan-style zone-running scheme, but with Hurts' legs, why not spice it up with more RPOs, read option plays that let Jalen pull or hand off based on the box. We've seen it work wonders in camp, turning Saquon Barkley, acquired in that blockbuster offseason deal, into a 100-yard machine. Barkley's got that New York grit, doesn't he? Escaping the Giants' shadow to thunder into Philly, where he's already eclipsing his Meadowlands averages with 4.8 yards per carry. But without feeding Brown the ball, on those go routes, you're wasting his 4.3 speed and those contested catches that make DBs weep. Imagine if we dialed up more bunch formations, flooding the sideline with Brown, Smith, and even Dallas Goedert in triple threats. The Bucs proved it. Tampa's corners couldn't handle the smoke when we spread them thin early. Patulo's right about the learning curve. These ain't your 90s pushovers. We've faced top 10 defenses in Green Bay, Atlanta, and now Tampa, each a puzzle piece in this early season grind. Historically, this Eagles offense has been a phoenix, rising from ashes time and again. Think back to the Chip Kelly era, high-octane tempo that lit up the link but fizzled in playoffs, or the Doug Peterson masterclass of 2017, when that Philly special trick play on 4th and goal sealed the Lombardi Trophy, the first Super Bowl in franchise history. Donovan McNabb, the blindside bomber who carried us to 5 NFC championships, would nod at this resilience. He'd say something like, "It's Philly, baby. We win ugly because that's how we roll." And Reggie White, the Minister of Defense, whose 1985 draft pick turned the franchise around. His spirit lives in this D that's holding foes under 17 points a game. Statline trivia for you diehards. Since 2000, only 3 Eagles teams have started 4-0 with a sub-25 points per game offense. The 2004 squad that went to the Super Bowl, the 2011 Miracle Run, and now these 2025 birds. Coincidence? Or destiny knocking? To get the pulse of the people, I caught up with a fictional fly-on-the-wall chat. Okay, let's call it an exclusive Eagles locker room vibe check. Picture this, A.J. Brown, post-practice, towel around his neck, leaning against his stall. "Look, man," he'd growl in that deep Tennessee drawl, "I came here to hunt, not to jog in place. Jalen's got the arm, we've got the pieces, let's unleash it." But frustration? Nah, that's fuel. Next game's against the Commanders. Watch me eat. Then there's Hurts, ever the poet, flashing that Alabama cool. "We're building, bro. For wins ain't luck, it's trust. AJ's my guy, we're locked in for the long haul. And don't sleep on the fans," overheard at a South Philly bar. "Patulo better wake up, or we'll chant his name like we did to Chip." Philly's fan base? Unmatched. From booing Santa in '68 to that raucous "Fly Eagles Fly," echoing through the Wells Fargo Center during Sixers games, we're the heartbeat of this city. Rivalries? Oh, the Cowboys, America's team? More like America's punching bag. That Thanksgiving bloodbath last year still stings sweet. Expert takes? Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated nailed it in his latest. Unlikely heroes step up as Eagles stay perfect. He's spot on, the D's anonymous stars, like that rookie corner swatting passes like Dawkins in his prime, are the MVPs. But for the offense to click, Patulo's gotta evolve. Fictional hot take from ex-Eagle and analyst Brian Westbrook. This is like '08 all over. McNabb was frustrated too, but we adjusted and ran the table. Predict this. By week 8, Brown's got 50 targets, and we're averaging 30 points. NFC East. Ours for the taking. Impacts. Playoff seeding's locked if they sustain this, but a slip against Washington next? Could drop them to the wild card scrum with the Giants breathing down their necks. Draft implications? Nah, 4-0 buys time, but inconsistency means eyeing OL depth in 26. Can't let Hurts dance forever. Looking ahead, this saga's a pivot point. If Patulo integrates Brown, maybe scheming those jet sweeps we teased in preseason, the sky's the limit. Imagine a primetime showdown with Dallas in November. Brown mossing Darren Bland for a 60-yard bomb, Link shaking like the 76 bicentennial earthquake. Or tying into pop culture, it's like that Rocky montage, where the underdog offense shadowboxes its doubts and lands the knockout. Philly, we're the city of brotherly love and brutal honesty. This team's got both. So, Eagles faithful, lace up those green kicks, crank up some Meek Mill, and rally behind the flock. Tune in Sunday as we take on the Commanders, revenge for that 23 heartbreaker. Will AJ erupt? Will Patulo flip the script? You won't want to miss it. Follow us here for every snap, every scheme, every AJS chant. This is more than football, it's Philly soul. Until next time, keep flying high, Birds fans, let's eat.